this is where we thought we'd be. So there's nothing changes really from what we set out at the start of the year to now.
Same question to you, Chris. Do you feel that that's the case at all?
Look, I feel there's pressure on everyone who's in the final series. The only teams that don't have pressure on now are the ones who are, planning trips to pubs or surgeons. So look, it's not something we shy away from. It's a game that's full of intense scrutiny, and we're just looking forward to getting out there and putting our best foot forward.
Greg, you're putting some hard running through Jared White, I presume, at the weekend. I'm just wondering what's the update on him?
Yeah, he went really well. He will train on Thursday and try and make a late bid to put his case up to play. So he pulled up really well. Ran again today. There's a lot of positives out of it. So hopefully Thursday it might be sort of D-Day for him in regards to making a claim for the final series, let alone trying to get in this week.
Is he the type of player that can come straight back in and, is he a touch player? Can he come straight back in and perform at his best?
Oh, well, I think when where we sit from the position of we need a forward, and he'd be not a bad sub, would he? So that's sort of some of the thinking that now with that sub rule and not playing all the game, could we maybe put him there and see if we can use him later in the game, when maybe long kicking might be something that we do a little bit later in the game, and bring him into the game, because he could stand out of a goal square and go pretty well, I think.
On the flip side of that, though, is that a big risk if you get one injury or two injuries early, to have a guy that's the sub that hasn't played a lot of footy?
I think that's the risk that we'd have to sit down, with the fitness staff and go through and work out, if these scenarios happen, what should we do from a team point of view. So I think we'll sit down more on Thursday and go through that, how he pulls up. We'll have all afternoon to go through and work out the maybes and the what-ifs and all those scenarios.
Is he past the critical stage, Brett, where obviously the 24 hours afterwards which is the critical time as to how the hips responded and such? Is he through that now? No soreness and stuff?
It's been fluctuating with a little bit of pain and things like that, how he's felt. So he got through Friday and the weekend, and then he's ran again, so he feels a lot better than he has. So this is a real positive for us, but whether there's enough time to play on Sunday, we'll have to wait and see. Do we put him in the Bull Ants? That'd be another option that we have up our sleeve if he's ready to go.
Yeah, outlook for Cruiser looks pretty promising. Just take us through your expectations for him and also Michael Jamieson this week.
Cruz is he did a little bit today, and so did Jamo. They did a bit today, so they look all right at the moment. But there's still a fair bit of water to go under the bridge. But if everything goes right, they'll play, and Jamieson will play back, and Cruiser will play in his normal spot and be the second ruckman. But just depending on, I suppose, Thursday again, to make sure that they get through. We want to take fit men into the team.
Was there any advice as to the risk of Cruiser's problem flaring again?
I haven't heard a lot. If he has any issues tomorrow, or even on Thursday, we'd probably really consider not playing him. But they have to sort of arise. At the moment, it's all okay, so we'll just have to wait and see.
Did he have surgery, Brett?
No, he didn't. No surgery.
There was talk of a medical procedure?
Yeah, he had to wait and just go through some things at the hospital and some scans and things, which, as you could understand, it was Saturday night and then Father's Day, so not everyone was on deck on Father's Day, so they had to wait a bit for him to get those scans.
Is it performed over, say, the past month any concern? I think if the top 8 form ladder, I think you're down the bottom. Is that a concern to you guys at all? Well,
we've had a bye, so we can't win that game. We lost to Hawthorn by a couple of goals on the travel back from Fremantle, and on the weekend we lost our full forward second ruckman in the first half. So I think our form is better than probably what the results actually show.
You've won more games this year. You were very close to finishing top 4. Does that mean you go into this final series a bit more confident than the last couple of years when you've been so close in those first finals?
I think our form leading into the finals is a bit better than last year's form that we had. I think the players have got a lot more confidence in areas of the game that we had to address and make sure that we were, I suppose, better prepared for finals football. And last year's performance against Sydney was outstanding, but we didn't win the game. And I think this year we've prepared from a week-to-week basis a lot better than we ever have.
Chris, do you think that preparation is reflected in the mood of the playing group going into this final?
Yeah, look, I think so. I think experience this year has been one where we've the mood stayed up throughout the whole year, much better than it has previous years, because our form hasn't fluctuated as much. And you know, we played some good footy, and even when we played poorly, we've still always been competitive. So, yeah, look, I think the players take some great confidence into this Sunday, knowing that you know, we played some good footy throughout the year.
Chris, how do you feel physically this time compared to perhaps this time?
I feel good. Yeah, it's a funny situation as a player, where it's a long year for everyone, and then as soon as finals come around, everyone just gets that lift and that bounce in their step, and you know, you feel like you've only played a handful of games. So yeah, my body's feeling good and just raring to go.
But obviously Eddie and Jeff's got good form against Essendon in recent times, but their form maybe in the bigger games hasn't been quite as good as some other games. Is that any sort of concern going into a big final?
Oh, I thought they were down last week, and probably against the Hawthorn. So their last two encounters haven't been great. You know, Eddie kicked 6 against Fremantle, which was really encouraging. Jeff's shown glimpses in games. If he kicked the goals and not missed the goals, he would have walked away with sort of 2 and 3 goals. So I think he's really close to just turning it on. So he's not that far away. And I think Eddie's second half of the year has been the best for the last 3 or 4 years. So he's finishing his year off a lot better than he has in previous seasons.
Considering the last time you played Essendon was a blowout in the second half, what positives can you take from that further than just a win?
I just think it's about building confidence against sometimes the opposition. They didn't have Watson, Hocking and Fletcher, but we didn't have a few other players as well. So I just think we can only do what we can do, and it was good for, you know, Betts and these blokes to get amongst the goals. I think Chris had the ball 30 odd times and really dominated stoppages. So, you know, that's what we'll be hoping to see on Sunday.
What do you, as a rifle midfielder, what do you make of Judd?
Judd's had a terrific year. You know, particularly before he did his hammy, he was playing as good as anyone, and he's really taken his game to the next level this year. So he's you know, he's dangerous. Zaharakis has had a really good year, and some of the other players have as well. So it's going to be you know, one of the exciting battles is the two midfielders going against each other.
I guess you'll get Heath.
Probably, yeah. I mean, try not to put too much thought into who you're going to get, because it's something you can't control and can't always predict. But certainly got him the first time we played, when he was playing, and he did a pretty good job. So yeah, that looms as a good battle as well.
Do you really sit back and analyse those two games as a midfielder, given the different circumstances you had in particular?
No, we had a little bit of a look at some footage of those games today as a midfield group. And yeah, we'll have a bit of a look at it, but we won't be caught up on what did happen, because history doesn't always repeat.
Chris, the coaching situation at the club is all over the back of the little paper today. But does that have any effect on the playing group whatsoever?
No, look, it doesn't. You know, Rat's got asked the question before if it was having an effect on him, and the reality is this week's about the Carlton Footy Club. It's about us playing our first home final in 10 years and performing well, and you know, that contract talk will take care of itself. So it's not a focus for the players.
Just on that, Brett, I'm not sure if you've read the article or heard Paul Roos last night saying, obviously, across the course of the year, you deserve another contract, but he fears if things don't go right on the weekend, you know, emotion might come into it and these sort of things. Are you confident that won't be the case?
Oh, well, let's see what the result is at the end of the day. But we've had a process in place to look at it at the end of the year. There's been KPIs set, so, you know, that'll govern whether I get another contract or not. And I'm really... you know, back up what Chris said. It's not about me or a contract. You know, there's players out of contract at our football club right at the moment, but we'll just take care of that. Let's get on. It's about the Carlton Footy Club, and let's see if we can get this win that we've been chasing for 10 years. Yeah.
Chris, you getting plenty of sleep?
Plenty of sleep. It's been a huge change, but no, it's been really exciting and really enjoying it.
Brett, I know any final special, but coming up against Essendon, you obviously had great battles as a player, and obviously against James as well as a player. Does it give it any more edge this week?
I think it probably gives it a little bit more, because you know the environment and how the crowd and the two teams think of each other, the supporters as well. So I think that'll create a great finals atmosphere, just being at the ground, and you know, just to see our supporters there in numbers, and I bet you Essendon will be out there as well. So I think just the atmosphere will just be electric.
Just as a long-time Carlton, you've mentioned bits and pieces about how big this is, but just how big a game this is in the modern history of Carlton. Home final against Essendon, 2 elimination final losses in the previous 2 years, just how much this is going to mean to the Blues?
I think there's a fair bit, this is what we wanted to give back to our supporters, because I think that, they've been starved of success over the last 10 years in regards to finals and being in Melbourne and success. So this is really important for us, not just about the playing group and everyone that's at the club, it's about our supporters as well.
Don't think Carazzo got a mention earlier, was he?
He'll be fine. Yeah, he's had that car accident and he ran today. Everything was fine. He was just a bit stiff and sore in the neck. So, just to get another knock there, we might have put him in jeopardy for this week.
Brett, just especially if you can get Matthew back playing permanently in the ruck more or less, how encouraged were you on Saturday night by Satanta? Managed to kick 4 goals even though he had to pick up the slack for you a bit?
Yeah, that was something that we thought after the game, post-game with the coaches, that if we had the opportunity to play Satanta there all the time, he might have sort of got into the 5, 6s and maybe even 7 goals instead of playing ruck. He even played a patch there as a backman to help out with backline rotations. We were sort of decimated with those tools, even at VFL level. So just to get him as a permanent forward would have been really encouraging to see if he could have finished with 5, 6 or 7. But I thought he did a great job first up.
But is there any concern, given the Essendon, their strength is a lot of their big men, the fact that some of your key big men have just had a few interruptions, like Jamison, if Wake plays, obviously Cruiser on the weekend, just in terms of sort of structurally, and your big men might not be right up and going?
Yeah, I suppose there's always a little bit of doubt, but yeah, we're not that concerned, no.
Just with Hampson and Watson at VFL level, were they pulled out just...
No, we had Hampson Watson had an Achilles that just got sore. So White hurt himself at training. He'll be available this week. Thornton had soreness. He couldn't play, and Hampson rolled his ankle and didn't get up. So we only had 2 players on our list, on our senior list, that could have played in the seniors this week, and that was Austin and Bauer. They were the only 2 men that were over 187 centimetres high.